So yeah, if you're an Aces fan, this is not looking good. This is not looking good at all if you're a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, because it is looking like Kelsey Plum is probably going to be gone from the Las Vegas Aces. And I don't think, unless there is no way, I believe, that they can get equal value in any sort of a trade for Kelsey Plum to make a run at championship number 3. Unless, of course, the Kelsey trade happens. Unless Kelsey Mitchell and Kelsey Plum both say they want out, and the Indiana Fever and Vegas Aces make that trade. And I still think Mitchell suits the Fever more with their style wise, and I think Plum suits the Aces more. But this is Callie Finn talking about Kelsey Plum most likely leaving the Aces based on her sources. And yeah, these are her sources. Robin Lundberg, these are the sources. Before the idiots in WNBA media will call you out, these are your sources.
Like the most likely scenario is that Kelsey Plum would move on from the Aces. You mentioned that she did not sign an extension, and former general manager Natalie Williams told me before she and the Aces parted ways that, Kelsey was offered an extension and declined. And so I think you both touched on this when you were actually talking about Satu, and it even applies with Breanna Stewart's situation. Like when a player is going to be cored, we're often given a clear indication of what that player wants, Satu made it clear Unrivaled, she's done in Dallas. We also know that Breanna Stewart is likely to be cored by the Liberty, but she's indicated that she wants to be there. So they're kind of doing that as a, honestly, it seems like as a gesture of good faith to her, because once you've been cored twice in your career, you have a lot more agency, in free agency, if you will. So I think that you have a lot more control of your situation. When it comes to somebody like Kelsey Plum, she's coming off a difficult personal year, and she's emphasized that she wants to take time for herself, which is why she said that she pulled out of Unrivaled. So we're not necessarily in the position to, with respect to what she said, to ask her directly, and that would be the best indicator here. But of course, like you mentioned my reporting, like I can pull and cite a few quotes that kind of imply that, the same way that Satu said that she's working with the Dallas organization, that's been the implication, that the Aces are working to find a situation where, quote unquote, everybody's happy, which is exactly what Becky Hammon said to me about a month ago.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously this is from Callie Finn talking about Kelsey Plum, but this is not a good look for the Aces. This is not a good look for the Aces. This is just not good for the Aces. It's really not. And look, obviously it's not for basketball reasons. If Kelsey Plum, just like again with the Kelsey Mitchell situation with the Fever, if Kelsey Plum leaves the Aces, not for basketball reasons. Kelsey Plum, since being a member of the Aces or the San Antonio Stars when she was first drafted, obviously struggling to start her WNBA career, she what she's managed to get was, heck, she got to play in Fenerbahce, where the money's pretty damn good for a couple of years. She's a 2-time WNBA champion, a 3-time consecutive All-Star, an All-Star Game MVP, which, remember that tiny little trophy. She's won a Commissioner's Cup. She's one of the most known players in women's basketball, and a lot of that has come from the Aces, because, yeah, she had the college hype, but with how poor she was to start her WNBA career, like, that kind of would have gone very quickly. But still, Kelsey Plum is one of the better players in the W. Like, if you want to just look at her stats, like how they've improved. Yeah, she already peaked in 2022. But still, last year, 17.8 points per game, 42% from the field, 37% from 3. Not bad numbers at all. Down from the year before, but to be fair, everything was down with the Aces last year. But I think she can be a pest of a defender as well. I don't think she's locked down, but I think she's a pest. Like, you can tell her to just go out and full court press somebody. And with the way the Aces played, she was very streaky as a scorer. Like, she might have the odd 30-point game, and she might have a game where she'd score 3 points at halftime and end up with 23. Like, that's just the type of player that she was. But I don't know what trades that the Aces could get for her, because obviously she can veto any of them. I'm just trying to see if I can even find any potential trade rumors. See here, WNBA fans, they discuss Kelsey Plum's ideal free agent destination. I think, obviously this is like the Robin Lundberg stuff, but I do think the Kelsey for Kelsey trade is the best thing, that could happen, that the Aces could get. Like, I've heard the rumor of Steph Talbot. I think, is it Steph Talbot and 5 or something, and the number 5 pick, or Steph Talbot and Kayla Thornton. I think somebody suggested that for Kelsey Plum. It was another YouTuber. They were doing like previews and all the teams and like the perfect offseason. I'm not entirely sure who it was, but I was watching the video and it was like, I think it was like Kayla Thornton and Steph Talbot. It's like, yeah, you're losing the better player of the two, but you're getting a really good bench player in Steph Talbot who's versatile. You're getting Kayla Thornton who can come in as a glue guy, and with Jackie Young maybe getting a little bit more in the offense. But I think with Chelsea Gray's regression, that's not going to be enough to do anything. And I think it's getting very, very close to saying like the Aces are probably not going to be in the hunt for winning a WNBA championship last year. Like I said it next year. I said it last year. I said it last season. That the Aces were just not good enough. They were not good enough. They were tired. They'd won back to back. A lot of them went to the Olympics. They were just simply put not good enough. And I still think to this day, they're probably not good enough again to do anything really. But this doesn't help. Like, if the Aces lose Kelsey Plum, there's a 0% chance they win the 2025 WNBA championship. There's 0. Like, it maybe increases the chance that A'ja Wilson wins an MVP. A'ja Wilson could have freaking 30 a game. Like, she could go without Kelsey Plum, with Chelsea Gray playing the whole season. She could average 30 for all we know. But it's going to be really, really tricky to... Like, it's going to be tricky to have her, or to kind of not have her. It's going to be tricky to not have Kelsey Plum because they were a big 4 that became a big 3 last year with Chelsea Gray's regression post-injury, and Chelsea Gray's not going to get healthier. Like, I've been watching her in Unrivaled. She's still struggling to run. And the problem is like, mechanically, Chelsea Gray has always kind of struggled to run ever since college. She's after getting another injury now, though, which has zapped any of the speed. She's obviously not someone that overly relies on speed, but like, you cannot argue that Chelsea Gray, what we saw last year, was a top anything point guard. And it was the type of foot injury where it's like, rest isn't going to make you better. Playing your way into shape isn't going to make you better. It's like, it's just one of those injuries. She's still going to be a starting level point guard in Chelsea Gray, but she's not going to be the all-star Chelsea Gray. And if you lose Kelsey Plum, you've got a big 2. You've got a big 2 and a super high IQ point guard who's still pretty good at their position. But then you've got Kia Stokes and Meg Gustafson as your next best players. And it's like, we don't know what's going to... Tiffany Hayes probably going to stay, in fairness to her. But like, Tiffany Hayes is a year older. Like, we forget how old Alicia Clark is. I know she doesn't look that old. But like, Alicia Clark is pushing 40. Like, what age is Sydney Colson? Like, Sid Colson is... She'll be 36 next year. Like, she'll be 36. Alicia Clark will be 38. Tiffany Hayes is probably a similar enough age. Although, again, Tiffany Hayes I thought was really, really good last season. But she literally came out of retirement. Tiffany Hayes will be 36 at the end of next season. So it's like, it's almost a retirement home. And without Kelsey Plum, they're pretty much done for the season. Again, look, with the amount of money that the Vegas Aces put in, with how good the organization is, and in fairness, like, look, like, lover or hater, no one, you can't argue that A'ja Wilson is not at worst the 4th, like the 3rd best player in the W, and probably the best. So they're still going to be decent, but losing Kelsey Plum basically means, yeah, they've got no chance. They've got no chance of doing anything next season. Because, I'm sorry, a lineup of... There is no free agent they can get. Because if you can get Kelsey Plum, unless you can literally make the Kelsey trade. Because if I'm the Aces, in fairness, I look for the same player that the Fever, I think, should go for if Kelsey Mitchell wants to leave. Like, if I'm the Indiana Fever in a Kelsey Mitchell trade, I'm looking towards the Washington Mystics. And I'm saying, okay, we are trying to get off the Katie Lou contract. We will give you Kelsey Mitchell and Katie Lou, and you give us Steph Dolson and Ariel Atkins. If I'm the Aces, I would do something similar. I'm like, you give us Steph Dolson and Ariel Atkins. Steph Dolson is a perfect center to play beside as a spot-up shooter beside A'ja Wilson, and you give us Ariel Atkins, who I think is probably who's again one of the most supremely undervalued players in the W. Like these 3-and-D players, like she is so undervalued, Neri Atkins. I make that type of trade, and if they're not willing to do that, maybe you can look for Brittany Sykes, who is a freakishly athletic, elite on-ball defender, who her and Jackie Young, as that 2-3, like are just going to be locked down next season. But I don't think they go and make that trade. I think it's going to be really tough because the rest of their pieces are too old. They don't have the depth. Colson's older, Clark's older, Chelsea Gray's gotten older. This isn't like the Aces when they showed up with a prime Chelsea Gray, prime Kelsey Plum, prime Jackie Young, prime Aja Wilson. They have freaking, I know she was old, but they Candace Parker there. This is not that Aces team. This is not an Aces team. Heck, it's not even it was 2020 Aces where they had like Cambridge and Plum, obviously a young Jackie Young, young Aja Wilson, like Kayla McBride, those type of players. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.